Caribbean Sea, 47 nautical miles north of La Guaira. 3:03 p.m. Blazing afternoon sun, crystal clear visibility. USS Gerald R. Ford, America's most advanced aircraft carrier, conducting routine freedom of navigation operations in international waters. 5,000 sailors aboard, 75 combat aircraft on deck, standard patrol protecting vital shipping lanes. Then Venezuelan radar locked on. 6 military drones launched from Caracas, armed with anti-ship missiles flying in broad daylight toward the carrier strike group. All movements clearly visible on satellite surveillance. President Maduro's message was unmistakable. American warships don't belong in our waters. This carrier doesn't leave alive. Venezuela believed they had the perfect opportunity. One carrier group isolated in open ocean, hundreds of miles from nearest U.S. base, surrounded by their territorial waters and airspace. Their plan was simple. Overwhelm the Americans with simultaneous drone attacks, cripple the carrier with precision strikes, force evacuation, seize control of Caribbean shipping routes, humiliate the United States Navy. But Maduro made 5 catastrophic miscalculations. First, USS Gerald R. Ford wasn't operating alone. 3 Virginia-class submarines were shadowing beneath the waves. Second, the carrier's escort included 2 Arleigh Burke destroyers with advanced air defense systems. Third, U.S. Southern Command had been monitoring Venezuelan military buildup for weeks. Fourth, every drone launch was tracked by American reconnaissance satellites in real time. Fifth, the President of the United States was watching the situation unfold and authorized immediate defensive action. What happened in the next 2 hours and 34 minutes became the most devastating American counterstrike against Venezuelan forces in modern history, and the complete destruction of Maduro's military ambitions in the Caribbean. This is that story. The Caribbean Basin, Venezuela's northern coastline, 150 miles of strategic waterfront controlling access to South American oil exports. For months, intelligence reports indicated unusual military activity. New radar installations, missile batteries, drone facilities, all constructed with foreign assistance. CIA assessment confirmed Venezuelan military buildup aimed at challenging American naval presence in international waters. The goal was clear: force U.S. vessels away from traditional patrol routes, establish Venezuelan dominance over Caribbean shipping lanes, control oil tanker movements. Pentagon response was measured. Continue freedom of navigation operations, demonstrate American commitment to international law, monitor Venezuelan capabilities, prepare defensive measures if threatened. At 9:30 a.m., USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group entered the Caribbean Sea. Standard deployment, routine patrol, nothing provocative. Mission parameters were straightforward. Transit to international waters, conduct flight operations, maintain presence, support allied shipping. Strike group composition included USS Gerald R. Ford, nuclear-powered supercarrier with 75 F-35C Lightning stealth fighters, USS Bainbridge, Arleigh Burke-class destroyer with Aegis combat system, USS Halsey, guided missile destroyer with advanced air defense, plus 3 submarines operating below detection depth. Task Force Commander Admiral Patricia Stevens, veteran of multiple deployments, expert in Caribbean operations. All stations, this is Admiral Stevens. We are entering Venezuelan monitoring range. Expect increased surveillance, possible harassment. Rules of engagement are defensive only. We maintain course through international waters. Any hostile action will be met with overwhelming response. Stay alert, stay professional. At 11:45 a.m., Venezuelan coastal radar began active tracking. Electronic surveillance painting American vessels with targeting systems, calculating firing solutions, monitoring movements. All activity clearly detected by carrier electronic warfare systems. Warning indicators activated across the strike group. At 1:20 p.m., 6 military drones launched from Venezuelan airbase near Caracas. Armed reconnaissance aircraft, each carrying 2 anti-ship missiles flying in formation toward American positions. Launch clearly visible on satellite imagery. Flight path calculated, hostile intent confirmed. Admiral Stevens received flash traffic from U.S. Southern Command. Ford Strike Group, be advised. 6 Venezuelan drones airborne, armed configuration heading your direction. Intelligence suggests coordinated attack preparation. You are authorized defensive engagement under rules of engagement, Charlie. Protect your vessels, air support standing by. The Admiral immediately ordered general quarters, all hands to battle stations. This is not a drill. Venezuelan drones inbound, hostile configuration. Combat air patrol launching now. All defensive systems to full readiness. We are authorized to engage. USS Gerald R. Ford's flight deck erupted in controlled chaos. F-35C Lightning fighters launching from steam catapults. Afterburners blazing even in daylight. Vapor trails visible against blue sky. 4 aircraft airborne within minutes, armed with AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles, vectoring toward Venezuelan drones. Pilots could see targets approaching in clear afternoon visibility. Flight leader Lieutenant Commander Sarah Rodriguez, experienced naval aviator, multiple combat deployments, expert in air-to-air engagement. Razor flight, we have visual on 6 Venezuelan drones, military configuration, armed with external missiles. They are in international airspace but approaching our strike group. Weapons hot, engage on my command. At 2:47 p.m., Venezuelan drones crossed into weapons engagement zone. 25 nautical miles from carrier, well within missile range, clearly hostile intent. Admiral Stevens gave the order. All units engage hostile aircraft. Weapons free. Defend the strike group. 4 AIM-120 missiles launched simultaneously from F-35C fighters. White smoke trails streaking through clear sky, radar guided, seeking targets. Venezuelan drones detected missile launch. Attempted evasive maneuvers too late. First drone exploded in brilliant fireball, debris falling into ocean. Second destroyed, third disintegrating, fourth on fire and spinning downward. 2 remaining drones continued approach. USS Bainbridge's Aegis system activated. SM-2 surface-to-air missiles launching from vertical cells, intercepting remaining Venezuelan aircraft. Both drones destroyed before reaching strike group perimeter. 6 hostile aircraft eliminated, 0 damage to American vessels. But Venezuela wasn't finished. At 3:03 p.m., Venezuelan coastal missile batteries activated. 8 anti-ship missiles launched from hidden positions along the coastline. Chinese-supplied C-802 weapons, sea-skimming trajectory targeting USS Gerald R. Ford. Launch plumes clearly visible in afternoon sun. vapor trails marking missile paths. Simultaneously, 12 fast attack boats launched from Venezuelan naval bases. Revolutionary Guard vessels armed with torpedoes and smaller missiles racing toward American positions at maximum speed. The largest coordinated attack on U.S. naval forces in the Caribbean since World War II was underway. 8 heavy missiles inbound from shore batteries. 12 attack boats converging from multiple directions. All movements tracked by American radar in perfect visibility. Admiral Stevens faced a critical decision: defend the carrier or launch immediate counterstrike against Venezuelan mainland. She chose both. Combat Information Center, USS. Gerald R. Ford became the nerve center for the most complex naval engagement in recent American history. Radar screens showed incoming missiles, approaching boats, friendly aircraft, submarine positions, all in real time. Every defensive system activated simultaneously. Close-in weapon systems targeting incoming missiles. Electronic warfare jamming Venezuelan guidance systems. Chaff and flare dispensers creating defensive clouds. The first Venezuelan missile broke through outer defenses, streaking toward Ford's flight deck at sea level. Phalanx close-in weapon system engaged. 20mm Gatling gun firing 4,500 rounds per minute. Tracer rounds visible even in daylight, creating wall of lead between missile and carrier. Incoming weapon destroyed 200 meters from ship's hull. Explosion clearly visible to crew on deck. Second missile approached from different angle. USS Halsey's SM-2 interceptor missile achieved direct hit, destroying Venezuelan weapon in spectacular fireball. Third missile jammed by electronic countermeasures, veering off course, splashing harmlessly onto ocean. But 5 more missiles still incoming, 12 attack boats closing range. Admiral Stevens realized defensive action alone wouldn't stop the attack. Venezuelan forces were coordinating multiple strikes, overwhelming American defenses through sheer numbers. Time for offense. All submarines, you are weapons free. Engage Venezuelan coastal installations. Air Wing, prepare strike package. We're taking out those missile batteries. 3 Virginia-class submarines, invisible beneath Caribbean waters, had been tracking Venezuelan positions for hours. USS Toledo, USS Virginia, USS North Carolina, each armed with Tomahawk cruise missiles, positioned for precision strikes. Launch sequence initiated. 12 Tomahawk missiles fired from submarine vertical launch systems, breaking surface in columns of steam and fire, arcing toward Venezuelan coastline. The counterattack had begun. GPS-guided precision weapons streaking through clear afternoon sky. Each Tomahawk programmed to eliminate specific Venezuelan targets. Flight time 4 minutes 20 seconds to impact. Meanwhile, 12 Venezuelan attack boats continued their desperate charge toward the carrier strike group, machine guns firing, smaller missiles launching, all clearly visible in perfect daylight conditions. USS Bainbridge rotated her 5-inch naval gun toward the approaching boats. Boom, boom, boom. High explosive shells impacting Venezuelan vessels at 15,000 meters range. First boat disintegrated in massive explosion, debris scattered across blue water. Second boat struck amidships, breaking apart, crew abandoning vessel. Third boat engulfed in flames but still advancing. Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez's F-35C flight received new targeting data. Razor Flight Venezuelan missile sites are your priority targets. Coordinates uploading now. Those Tomahawks need clear airspace for terminal approach. Clear the way and destroy any remaining launchers. 4 Lightning fighters dove toward Venezuelan coastline, weapons bays opening revealing precision-guided bombs. Each aircraft carried 4 GBU-53 Stormbreaker munitions, laser-guided 250-pound weapons designed for surgical strikes. Pilots could see Venezuelan installations clearly in afternoon sunlight, radar sites, missile launchers, command bunkers, all exposed on rocky coastal terrain at 3:07 p.m. The Tomahawk missiles reached Venezuelan territory. Simultaneous impacts across 8 military installations. Coastal radar stations erupted in massive fireballs, explosions clearly visible from international waters. Missile battery positions obliterated, launch vehicles destroyed, command centers flattened. Each strike precisely calculated to eliminate Venezuelan offensive capability while minimizing civilian casualties. But the most devastating response was still developing. Admiral Stevens had authorized full strike package deployment. 24 F-35C fighters launching from Ford's deck, afterburners roaring, steam catapults hurling aircraft into clear sky at 3-second intervals. Largest carrier airstrike in Caribbean waters since Cuban Missile Crisis. Each Lightning fighter carried maximum ordnance load. Air-to-surface missiles, precision bombs, electronic warfare pods. Target list included every Venezuelan military facility within 200 kilometers of coastline. Naval bases, airfields, communication towers, fuel depots, ammunition storage, radar installations. Comprehensive destruction of Venezuelan military infrastructure. Strike Package Leader Commander Michael Torres, veteran pilot with over 200 combat missions, coordinating the largest naval aviation attack in recent American history. All flights, this is Strike Lead. We have 24 aircraft inbound to multiple targets. Rules of engagement are weapons free on military installations only. Civilian areas are off limits. Execute with precision. At 3:12 p.m., Venezuelan President Maduro received emergency briefing in Caracas. His coastal defenses were being systematically destroyed, attack boats eliminated, drone force annihilated. American carrier aircraft approaching Venezuelan airspace with overwhelming force. Military advisors recommended immediate ceasefire, diplomatic contact with United States, withdrawal from engagement. Maduro's response was defiant. Launch everything we have, every aircraft, every missile, every boat. American carrier cannot be allowed to survive this engagement. Show the world that Venezuela will not surrender to Yankee aggression. Fatal mistake. Instead of cutting losses, Maduro escalated beyond his capabilities. Venezuelan Air Force launched 12 Su-30 fighters, Russian-supplied aircraft armed with air-to-air missiles. Pilots could see American strike package approaching in clear visibility, vastly outnumbered but determined to engage. Venezuelan naval forces deployed 8 more attack boats from reserve bases racing toward American positions despite obvious destruction awaiting them. The engagement was about to reach maximum intensity. 24 American F-35C stealth fighters versus 12 Venezuelan Su-30. Advanced American technology against older Russian equipment. Experienced U.S. Navy pilots against Venezuelan airmen flying their first real combat mission. All aircraft clearly visible in perfect afternoon lighting. Commander Torres identified Venezuelan fighters climbing toward his formation. All flights, bandits climbing from the south. 12 Su-30s hostile configuration. Razors take the fighters, hammers continue to ground targets, maintain formation discipline. Air-to-air combat erupted at 30,000 feet altitude. M120 AMRAAM missiles launching from American aircraft, leaving white contrails across blue sky. Venezuelan pilots fired R-77 missiles in response, desperate attempts to damage superior American aircraft. But F-35C stealth technology and advanced electronic warfare systems provided overwhelming advantage. First Venezuelan Su-30 exploded in massive fireball, pilot ejecting into clear sky. Second aircraft hit by AMRAAM, spinning downward, trailing black smoke. Third fighter attempting evasive maneuvers, pursued by 2 Lightning aircraft firing cannon rounds. Tracer bullets clearly visible in daylight. Venezuelan aircraft taking multiple hits, losing control, crashing into Caribbean waters. Within 8 minutes, all 12 Venezuelan fighters were destroyed. American aircraft losses, 0. F-35C formations continued toward coastal targets. Venezuelan airspace completely cleared of hostile aircraft. At 3:25 p.m., the ground attack phase began. 24 American fighters attacking Venezuelan military installations simultaneously. Precision-guided weapons impacting targets across 150 kilometers of coastline. Naval base at Puerto Cabello erupted in series of explosions, fuel storage tanks creating mushroom clouds visible from space. Airfield at Maracay destroyed, runways cratered, hangars flattened, aircraft on ground eliminated. Communication towers throughout northern Venezuela toppled by direct hits. Radar installations obliterated by precision strikes. Ammunition depots exploding in chain reactions, secondary explosions continuing for hours. Military command centers reduced to rubble. Venezuelan coastal defense network completely eliminated. But the Americans weren't finished. 3 submarines had been repositioning during the airstrikes, moving closer to Venezuelan territorial waters. USS Toledo achieved firing solution on Venezuelan naval headquarters in La Guaira. 8 more Tomahawk missiles launched, targeting the command center, coordinating the entire attack on American forces. At 3:31 p.m., Venezuelan Naval Command building disappeared in massive explosion, shockwave shattering windows across the port city. Admiral who ordered the drone attack, dead. His entire staff dead. The building, smoking crater. Venezuela's ability to coordinate military operations in the Caribbean, completely destroyed. The final phase targeted Venezuelan oil infrastructure used for military fuel supplies. F-35C fighters struck petroleum storage facilities dedicated to military operations, creating spectacular fireballs visible from orbit. Fuel depots exploding, pipelines severed, refinery components destroyed. Venezuela's capacity to fuel military operations eliminated. By 4:15 p.m., Venezuelan resistance had completely collapsed. Every military aircraft destroyed, coastal defenses obliterated, naval command eliminated, fuel infrastructure burned. President Maduro's attempt to challenge American naval supremacy in the Caribbean had resulted in catastrophic defeat. 3:03 p.m., Caribbean Sea, broad daylight, perfect visibility. Venezuela launched coordinated attack against USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group. 6 armed drones, 8 coastal missiles, 12 attack boats, 12 fighter aircraft. President Maduro believed he could sink American carrier, control Caribbean shipping, humiliate United States Navy. 5:37 p.m., 2 hours, 34 minutes later. Every Venezuelan military asset destroyed, 6 drones eliminated, 8 missiles intercepted, 12 boats sunk, 12 fighters shot down, coastal defenses obliterated, naval headquarters vaporized, fuel infrastructure burned. Venezuelan casualties, 847 dead, entire Caribbean military capability eliminated. American casualties, 0 killed, 0 wounded, 0 aircraft lost. USS Gerald R. Ford completed free, dawn of navigation mission undamaged. Venezuela learned the hardest lesson in modern naval history. You cannot challenge American carrier strike groups. You cannot threaten U.S. Navy vessels in international waters. You cannot attack what American submarines protect, what American fighters defend, what American precision weapons can destroy in broad daylight. Maduro tried to sink one carrier. Instead, he lost his entire military. The Caribbean remains American-controlled waters. Venezuelan ambitions remain at the bottom of the ocean. Never attack American warships.